Hello everyone, nice to introduce myself. My name is Siti Azzahra, and today I want to tell you the story about the novel. The title is Size 14 is Not Fat Enough by Meg. So, check it out. This story follows Heather Wells, a former teen pop star whose life has completely fallen apart. A few years ago, she was famous and successful, but now her music career is over. Her mother has run away to Argentina with all of her money, and her ex-fiancé, a famous boy band singer, is about to marry another celebrity. So instead of performing on stage, Heather is now working as the assistant director in Fisher Hall, a residence hall in New York College. Students actually call it Death Dorm because several murders happened there the previous semester. On the first day of the spring semester, Heather is hoping for a quiet morning. She just wants to coffee and normally at work, but that doesn't happen. When she walks into the dorm cafeteria, she finds a group of employees staring into a large boiling pot on the stove. At first, she thinks they are preparing food, but they're not. Inside the pot is the severed head of Lindsay Combs, the school's head cheerleader. Naturally, the entire campus goes into panic mode. The police arrive, including Detective Canavan, who is not exactly thrilled whenever Heather gets involved in an investigation. Where the police try to solve the murder, Heather is dealing with plenty of personal problems on her own. She lives in a townhouse owned by Cooper Cartwright, a private investigator who also happens to be her ex-fiancé brother. Heather has secretly been in love with Cooper for a long time. Unfortunately, Cooper seems to think of her as nothing more than a friend. As if that weren't enough, Heather's father has just been released from prison and suddenly moved into that house. He spent his time trying to become a better person and playing a wooden flute. At the confining moment, Heather is also informed that she has to pass a remedial math class in order to keep certain job benefits. But honestly, it's pretty hard to focus on algebra when someone has been murdered. Even though Heather promises not to interfere with the police investigation, she cannot help herself. She learns that Lindsay was dating Bob Weiner, a wealthy college student whose family owns a huge construction company. The another cheerleader tells Heather that Lindsay may have been having a secret affair with the basketball coach, which is Stephen Edwards. One thing I'm sure, Heather starts asking questions. Her investigation eventually leads her to Doug and her older brother named Steve Weiner. The two brothers are arrogant, aggressive, and influenced with drugs. During one confrontation, Doug becomes so angry that he actually headbutts Heather. At this point, Heather knows that she's getting closer to something important. Then the situation becomes even more dangerous. A student worker named Manuel is stabbed during a basketball game. Before losing consciousness, he tells Heather something crucial. He says that Lindsay borrowed his cafeteria key because she needed to retrieve something and return it to some people who were angry with her. This clue turns out to be extremely important. Meanwhile, Heather discovers that the basketball coach isn't influenced at all. In fact, he's secretly gay and has a crush on Heather's boss named Tom. So one of the major suspects is completely clear. As the week continues, Heather keeps putting the pieces together until everything finally leads back to Fisher Hall cafeteria. On Friday night, the mystery reaches its climax. Steve Weiner kidnaps a student named Gavin and uses him to lure Heather to the cafeteria. They are surrounded by candles and members of Fraternity International Invitation Ritual. The truth finally comes out. Lindsay has stolen a gram of cocaine from the Weiner brothers. She wanted to get revenge on Doug because she felt he was treating her badly. When Doug found out, he becomes furious and struggled her. After the murder, Steve decided to help cover it up. The brothers tried to get rid of Lindsay's body using the cafeteria industrial garbage disposal. Unfortunately for them, human bones doesn't disappear that easily. Once Heather learns the truth, Steve turns on her. He forces her to drink water that has been mixed with rohypnol and threatens her with a gun. Heather starts feeling dizzy, but she refuses to give up. Using the freshly waxed cafeteria floor, she slides across it, tackles Steve, and even bites him his wrist until he drops the gun. This one seems completely out of control. Another huge surprise happened. Reggie, the local drug dealer has been talking to all week, suddenly burst into the room carrying a gun. But he's not actually a drug dealer. He is an undercover DEA agent. With his help, the Wayne brothers are finally arrested and this case is solved. Heather is taken to the hospital to recover from the drugs that she was forced to drink. While still a little of it, she ends up confessing her feelings to practically everyone around her, including Detective Canavan and her father. Later, Cooper picks her up from the hospital. He admits that he cares about her, but says he doesn't want to become her rebound relationship. Heather meets her new remedial math professor named Ted Toko, who is handsome, athletic, and very interested in getting to know her. After everything she has survived, Heather starts to feeling optimistic about the future. So, that's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.